let's go without further ado to the Tarantula, the one and only Jalin Turner, standing by. Hello, my friend. Back in the same spot. We were talking to you in that same spot just a few weeks ago before the fight. Now you did it. Now you won. A few days later, after everything that transpired on Saturday, and by the way, congratulations. It was beautiful to see. How are you feeling about everything that happened last week in Vegas?
And I'm feeling really good. Everything aligned well. Everything worked out well. Feeling really blessed about it. And Edson was just a pleasure to share the octagon with. He's a legend, so it was cool.
Once you got to Vegas and you went through the fight week motions and all the things that maybe at one time you thought you would never experience again, were you emotional? We saw you get emotional after the fight, but like, how were you feeling as you were back there doing everything all over again?
Everything, honestly, it felt so natural. I've been there, I've done it multiple times, and it just felt like that's where I needed to be. Everything felt so smooth. It really felt like home.
It's not one of those stories where, like, sometimes we've talked to fighters who had been released and they come back to the UFC and they say, man, I really missed this. I appreciate it more. You willingly walked away, but even so, did you feel like you were appreciating all the small steps, the minutia a little bit more, maybe some stuff that you took for granted the first time around?
Um, I, I don't think anything was taken for granted, but I felt like I got to notice that I was almost wasting an opportunity, and I seen how hungry the guys in the gym around me were. Like my buddy Doug, Dougie Lehian, he just got signed off of the contender series. Seeing him grind in the gym, like Jacob Rosales, Richie Miranda, being around these guys in the gym, like Cub Swanson, just reminded me of so much stuff. And I just got around hungry talent, and it really helped me a lot too. That was something that I was just looked back on, and I'm like, I didn't want to waste an opportunity as well. Was I okay with hanging it up and never coming back to the octagon again? 100%. But that definitely made me appreciate where I was, and made me love the fact that I got to that point. And yeah, I further appreciated it.
Very fun fight, very entertaining fight, relatively quick fight. You beat him in 2 minutes and 24 seconds. We saw the blood, we saw the action. It was vintage, I would say, and maybe even better than vintage, Jalin Turner. Overall, I would imagine very, very happy with the way in which things played out. Is there anything you're not happy about as far as the performance?
Um, no, there's nothing I'm not happy about, but I do wish, like, maybe I would have like subbed them, or just like, I don't know, grappled or something, just save some damage. But like I said, like, I'm a striker, he's a striker, we love striking, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, yeah.
He's been around the game obviously for a while. Is he someone, as you were climbing the ladder, that you thought about fighting? Was it somewhat of a goal, for lack of a better word, a dream of yours to fight someone like Edson Barboza?
um I didn't really have like aspirations to fight him, but I always watched him and admired his striking style and just admired his work. um I think honestly, I aspired to fight Dan more than I ever aspired to fight Edson, and um, it was just an honor. I feel like Edson was like a bit more of a legend in my heart. Dan is definitely like the guy still. Like he's still relevant right now, and it was an honor to share the octagon with him as well. But I was more looking forward to fighting Dan than Edson. But it was so much more honoring to fight Edson in a sense.
Okay. By the way, something that I'm always curious about with fighters, and especially ones who are seemingly so nice and calm and respectful and spiritual. Do you ever battle the idea of being so aggressive and violent and having to hurt someone? Do you ever wrestle internally with those feelings and how to combat that?
Yeah, yeah, I went through that really heavily after I fought Dan, actually. When I seen him in the hospital, because that's kind of when I started to like get curious about my faith and God, and my spiritual journey and walk. And I felt so bad. I felt so bad for him after that fight, because I went to the hospital with him, and well, not with him, but I seen him in the hospital, And I was like, I'm good. Like I didn't even want to go to the hospital, but I just said, oh, my head hurts a little bit. And then as soon as I said that, the UFC's like, yeah, you gotta go get your head scanned. And I'm like, I didn't mean like my brain, like my face hurt, like And they sent me there, but I seen him and I was like, dang man, he was pretty like buffed up. He's good now. We all healed, but after that fight, I was like, dang, I felt really bad. And then I had the Bobby Green fight, and that stoppage was, so late. And I was like, man, like I felt bad about Dan, then I feel bad about Bobby, and then when I fight Marcano, like I don't go for the kill because I'm just wrestling with all these feelings and all this stuff's going on. I'm just like, dang, like I didn't know, I didn't know how to feel, but I do now understand that it is okay to go in there and be violent in a sense, be savage, because I'm not going in there to kill my opponent, but I'm going there with the passion and desire to do anything willing to get the victory. And God wants to see his creation do amazing things anyway. It's not like I'm going out there because I hate anybody. Like we all love what we do. We wouldn't do it if it wasn't for love. And that's like just another facet of how deep love can be and how it can transpire and transfer over to multiple avenues and aspects of life. Mine is combat sports.
The emotion that we saw immediately after the fight, you on your knees, you were visibly emotional. What was that about?
That was, I feel like it was such a relief of everything that I went through this year. I really want to be super transparent about everything that I went through this year and how I hit rock bottom and, a heartbreak, rock bottom. I've been in circumstances that I never thought I'd be in. And all the hurt, the pain, the retirement, you know, feeling betrayals, feeling so many things, like feeling like I let so many people down. It was just so much that I went through. Things with my daughter, family was messing up. Like it was so much pain. It was so much that I don't even know how I got through it, besides understanding that it was through God, because as soon as I hit that rock bottom and I went through all these hard times, I found out that he was the rock on the bottom. So
Wow.
now I'm building off of a solid foundation in Christ. And um, that was another thing. I had to go through a lot of that stuff because it made me tough. It made me strong. It made me way more resilient. So when I went back into fire, into territory of combat, that's why I was so much more relaxed and calm in everything that I went through in the octagon. I looked better than ever because of all the hardships that I went through. Like nothing was gonna move me, stop me, shake me, or make me feel scared or feel for fight. Like I felt like I was in there sparring. Like it was just so light to me.
I don't mean to pry, but when you do say rock bottom and betrayal and all these things, I'm not sure where to go with that. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Can I ask you what you're referring to when you talk about this?
I kind of don't want to go into detail about it, but it's just like it's more of a feeling, a feeling I was battling. I had fallings out. I had a falling out with someone that was like, in my life for some years, and I just kind of had to like just forgive them and understand their perspective of the situation and just be like, you know what, like it's cool. Um, you know, just fight camp stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it happens, but yeah, yeah, it just yeah, that messed me up for a little bit, and I was like, dang, like, yeah,
I
yeah.
I did see a couple of days ago on Instagram you posted some photos of your daughter. You just mentioned your daughter, and it seemed like she went through some health issues. Can I ask what she went through and how she's doing now? Most importantly.
Yeah, one instance she got attacked by a dog, and then the other instance she got sick and didn't know, and we didn't know what was going on. Um, Doctors didn't know. That was pretty scary, and um, yeah, both incidents were like just really traumatizing and scary, and really really heavy on the family, and Yeah, she's better. She's better. Like she's a resilient kid. She's a smile, a bundle of joy. Even through the hardships, she's still like, oh, she's like, Jesus will help me, like Jesus will help me. I'm like, cool. I'm like, yeah, he will, and like, um, that was, you know, yeah, going through that was like the hardest thing in my life.
I can
Um,
imagine.
yeah, not like feeling like I couldn't protect my child, and feeling like I couldn't. There was nothing I could do. I was like, dang, it was like a really helpless feeling. And the only thing I knew to do in those moments was just pray. I just started praying because that was like the best thing I could do. And, she got better. She got like everything just worked out. Like God worked it all out. But, you know, like I said, after going through all these hardships this whole year, um, moving back to California from Florida and having all this stuff happen, just made me stronger. It's just made me so much stronger, and it made me really truly understand like God is with you through your hardships. And sometimes when you don't have any control over anything, you don't know what to do. That's the best thing to do is just put it in His hands.
Just one other question about that. Do you think the sickness had anything to do with the dog attack?
There was months far in between. It
Okay.
was it was something separate, but they said it was strep throat. So that's
Oh,
what, yeah, caused all the health issues. She broke out in rashes and didn't know what was going on, and yeah, so
but
that was what it
she's doing
was.
great now.
Yeah, she's doing great. Like, thank God, she's doing great. Yeah.
Amazing. Very, very happy to hear that. I thought also part of the reason was, and obviously this is much more important, deeper, but that was your first one in 2 years. So just that feeling of being victorious, I would imagine, in addition to everything you've been through this year, a bit of a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yes, I yes, 100% that goes along with it, but I wasn't even thinking about that. In that moment, I was just thinking about all the battles and all the ups and downs, all the heaviness that I went through just to be able to muster the courage and strength to go back into the octagon, and truly not wanting to go back and then going back because literally God was like, go back, you need to be here. I'm like, okay, because like I said in my other interviews, it's just I could go coach. I could have did so many other things and made a comfortable living. Didn't have to be in the light. Didn't have to do any of these other things. Be in the UFC and still provide for my family. So it wasn't about that for me. It wasn't like just financial. It wasn't any other motive besides you know being able to help more people with the platform that I have, and telling the story of what God has got me through. It's been a blessing, and it's been something like it's just really unexplainable. And I never thought I'd be this person. I never thought I'd be.
Hmm.
I'm the uncle that's the Jesus freak now. Like,
Yeah.
Uncle's gonna come talk about Jesus, and you go sleep over his house. You gonna pray before bed and do all this extra steps, everything. So that's me.
I love it. I love it, and it seems to be, suiting you quite well. You like I said, your smile is just radiating off the screen. You seem to be in such a peaceful and happy state. It's really, really great to see. I did notice you and Edson speaking afterwards, and I think you guys prayed together afterwards, right?
No, we didn't pray, but we just had good words. He it was an honor to share the octagon with him, and he was really happy that the Lord got to be glorified in the octagon that night. Like that's what he wanted ultimately, like regardless of the result and who it was through. And yeah, he was really really grateful about that. He's such a good soul.
Mm. I saw that you said that you sought the advice of Cub Swanson in trying to decide whether or not you'd come back, or once you decided you were going to come back. And he's one of the legends of the game too. Can I ask how that went and why you went for Cub? Why you reached out to Cub?
Um, I, I train at the same gym as him, and I've known Cub since I was like 19 years old. He when I was amateur, he came to like one of my amateur fights, and that Joe Daddy Stevenson had put on, and yeah, we've been cool ever since. I trained with him at Jackson Wink, and he's local from California, so. yeah, we just talked, I've been cool with Cub for years, and he told me, he was like, yeah, bro, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to go on a skid. I know what it's like to not want to continue. I know what it's like. He's like, you just got to muster up the strength and get one win, and that'll change the whole trajectory of everything. And he reminded me, like, if you do come out of retirement and you go back into the octagon and you want to really do this again, um, all those old feelings and emotions and everything that made you want to stop is going to come back up again. So be ready, battle that and push through that when you start camp. Like have your mind right. And yeah, he was really positive voice in my ear, and amongst others. But like as far as fighters went, like he was really there, because I was like in the gym day in and day out with him, and he got to see the progress of me mentally, like not wanting to ever step back again, to thinking about it, getting curious and seeing the guys and helping the guys out, and then getting the victory.
How quickly do you want to return?
Dude, I wanted to get on the January card, but I don't. I think it's already filled. So hopefully, maybe February, March.
Okay, so you're itching to get back in there.
I want to be busy. I want to be busy this year. I want to fight. I want to fight this quarter, and then I want to fight. Everybody's like hit or miss on the White House card. I think that would be fun. So I'd like to fight on that card and then see where that puts me or who the opponents are by the end of the year, and then see if I take one more, and then yeah, that'll be my year, God willing.
Anyone come to mind as far as who makes sense next?
Uh yeah, I got a couple of people,
Who we
but
thinking? Who we thinking, Jalin? Who we thinking?
um no, I'll save it. I'll save it. I'll save it.
Why, you don't want to be viewed as calling someone out?
No, 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 not no. I need to pray about it. I need to really
All
sit
right.
on it and see if it's gonna be a good move. I talked to Sean Shelby about it briefly, and we'll see.
Okay, all right. This will be your first Christmas as a sort of like renewed Christian, right? I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but I'm sure maybe this is going to be a bit of a more significant one for you than ones in the past.
Um, yeah, I believe so. It'll be a bit more significant. I think for me, the most significance is my son's birthday is so close to Christmas, so that's what I'm really like, focusing on right now, giving him a good birthday, and then yeah, the significance of Christmas is gonna be good this year too. But I haven't, I've been in camp, I haven't decorated, haven't done anything, so
I did see you buy. Didn't you get a new tarantula this week?
yeah.
Look at this, man. What number is this?
I think 17.
17.
17.
And are they
Yeah.
all alive?
Yeah, they're all alive. Yeah.
Wow. And so where does that one go? Do you put it in like a big, I don't know, aquarium or
Yeah.
something?
Put it in this little enclosure, make it all nice for
Okay.
it.
And do they all live together?
No, they're all separate. I have one species that's communal, so there's three in that enclosure. So I actually got to separate them because I'm planning on breeding them. So they generally don't breed in their colonies unless they're separated. That's at least what my buddy
Wow,
Aaron
wow,
told me.
wow.
So yeah.
And so what would happen if you put them all together? Bad things?
The the strongest will survive.
Okay, interesting. Wow, wow, wow. And do you want more?
Yeah, I always want more.
Okay. So you just have and where are these little like enclosures? Around your house or outside?
there. I got a few in my room, and I got a few in the living room. I need a house. I need a
Yeah.
big house. Yeah, it's time to upgrade. So two more fights, and we get a nice. Two more
Okay.
wins, and we get a nice house. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you feed them? Just curious.
Crickets, mealworms, dubia roaches, little stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. You buy those in stores, I would imagine?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm always at the reptiles booth.
Oh, I love that. And your kids like them as well?
Oh yeah, my kids love them. Yeah, my son has a ball python, and then they both have a leopard gecko.
Golly, that is incredible. This love of reptiles, amazing. Well, you deserve it. You deserve to treat yourself. Well done. Congratulations. It's been really great checking in with you throughout the year. I know back in March you were going through a tough time, but the most recent chat and then this one, it's just great to see you in such a good spirit and form, and then to see the result on Saturday was really great as well. So well done. Congratulations. Happy holidays, and thanks for coming back on and checking in with us, and looking forward to next year for you, Jalin.
Yes, thank you so much. I can't wait either. Thank you. Happy holidays, and may next year be one of the best years yet to come.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. There he is, Jalin Turner, the tarantula, who just added his 17th tarantula to his collection. Golly. What a guy. I tell you, he's some man for one man, that Jalin Turner. He's the man. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.